Well, hello there, YouTubers. It's chilly outside, so I'm inside. I've been watching YouTube and playing here and playing there, and every now and then I walk out and feed the boiler because it's eating big time right now. I guess just about most of the nation, North America, has gotten this cold blast, and it's, I don't know what it's out, I don't know what it is, but anyhow, watching YouTube, and I was watching another real good channel you should go check out. Hardworking Man. I forget things, so I wrote a couple things on here, not very many. And he had a real good show on the fireplace and stuff like that, and everything he did was like spot on. There wasn't anything wrong with what he did. A long time ago, I used to have the vacuum cleaner over here, and I have a big wagon. I'll show it to you in a minute. You've seen it before. It's with the stumper in. And I'd roll the wagon outside and just fill all the wood onto the wagon, and it would last for a week. I think this is in the picture. This is just sawmill cutoffs, that kindling that I make out of that. But what this show's about is one thing that I don't think anybody's ever seen. I kind of never seen one out there, and I probably should have patented the thing years ago. I've made a few for some people, and it's like, oh wow, you know, once again, the old man's way ahead of his time. I'm thinking what's going on, you know, with a wood splitter back in the 70s, or the table, or this or that or the other thing. Anyhow, so I texted him, said I've got a tool that you need to make, and it's very easy to make. I guess it's easy to make for me because I'm a maker of junk like that and that kind of stuff. But it would save you a lot of time on playing in the fireplace or something like that. I don't know. It's a good tool. Anyhow, I'll show you what it is. I got two of them back here, as a matter of fact, because I have another one of these wood stoves upstairs. That's what it is. It's a heavy-duty shovel. This is what it is here. I made one to match that. This is what they call, I'm pretty sure, expanded metal. And as all I did was, it was a flat piece, and I just put it in the vise and bent it up a little bit, and put it in the vise and bent the two edges over, and then bent it up. And this is just, I don't know, it's probably 1/8 of an inch by 1/2 inch. And this thing here will save you big bucks and lots of, it just saves so many different things. I should have written them all the things it's going to save you, but I didn't. When you have the wood stove, okay, now I don't burn in this anymore because I got the outdoor wood boiler, and we'll talk about that. Now we just put candles in there. I guess you're seeing that. Let me see. Uh-oh, candle fell over. Rotten brickwork. Let me bring it over here and try to put it down a little bit. You're going to see. Now, you're going to have to kind of imagine this in your mind. But what I'd come down, when the coals, you're just down to a bed of coals and you need to get the fire going again, but you're getting so much ash buildup. What I would do was I'd open up, this is the draft. Open that up all the way. Open your fire door slow so it doesn't, I can't think of what the effect is, but it's, when you pull it open, the smoke will come with it. So open the door slow, which you guys probably all know that. But you got a big bed of ashes in there because you haven't cleaned them out in a couple days. So what I would do with this is just sit there and push all the ashes over that way, scoop it in there, and with this open all the way, none of this smoke comes out into the room because it's all being taken up, going up the chimney. So you go in here and you shake it a little bit and put the ashes over there. Go in here and shake a little bit and put the ashes over there. You're going to get all the big chunks of red hot coals in here, and probably another 10% of wood that hasn't burned. So what you're going to have left over on this side, or you could do it on the other side depending on how your door is. So all you're going to have there is charcoal and red coals, and that lights up like that. You can put a piece of wood in there, big wood, little wood, it doesn't make any difference, it'll go back up. But then you can take and shovel your ashes out. Now, your savings is going to be on this because now you're going to have 100% burn on your wood. You know, if you just shovel your coals out, you're going to have a lot of chunks, probably the size of your thumb or better, in there that you're just disposing of, and there's no reason not to keep those. But then when you do this, I didn't bring a can in. He had a can in there, and that's the same thing you do. You want to put it in a metal can, and then when you set it outside, you don't want to leave it in your house. Set it outside on something that won't burn. If you set them on a wooden deck, you stand a chance of burning your house down. But I would put that bucket right here. So when I'm shoveling with a shovel, now he had a real nice shovel that he got. I picked this up at a wood stove store, and this thing's pretty heavy. But the handle's too long for me. But for a regular fireplace it'd be good. But I'd have that bucket with the lid in here, so I'd shovel here and dump it in there, and shovel it and dump it in there, and then all that smoke would not get into the house. So that's kind of something I wanted to add on to what he did. Go up and check his channel out. Hard working man, and he's got to put Ann Woman in there, because I believe she does probably more work than he does. That's what it seems to be. He likes having a camera. Got you, didn't I, buddy? You've been caught. Anyhow, that will save a little tool like this. Really pretty easy to make. I'm not a welder, can you tell? These things were made probably 25 years ago. And we have another stove like this upstairs. This is either it could be a freestanding stove, or it could be an insert. You get a leg package and a chimney package one way, and it's a Country Flame if you want to know. And I guess we bought this one back in '89, and we bought the other one in '80. Oh man, I think we might have bought the other one in '82 or '83, somewhere around there. And but once I got the wood boiler, I don't really do too much of burning in here for that reason and a couple other reasons. But anyhow, I wanted to comment on another thing that he had, which I think the idea is good, because I've been trying to convince the wife to do it for, gosh, I don't know how many years. His wife seems to be a little more accommodating to him. She's a pretty good girl. Mine's a good girl, but if I come up with the idea, it ain't a good idea. But the dryer thing he had, where it takes the heat from the dryer, goes up, and it's a water lint or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that is. Real good idea, because here's some things that you need to think about where your heat is going to in your house. If he's running that dryer, he's putting heated air and moisture outside. In the wintertime, you want that inside. And what I wanted to do in the house, and what I think might help him out up there, and anybody that gets one of those, it's not just, if you're bringing that high concentrated moisture out of your dryer into that thing, and then what you're doing is you're filling the room where your dryer is with high humidity, and it's going to probably take you twice as long to dry your clothes. That's the only problem I see with that. I think you need to duct that into a room outside of the room where your dryer is. Now here we have the ability that I could just cut a 4-inch hole through the floor in the back where nobody goes anyway, and bring that all down here, because in the wintertime you want the heat and you want the humidity. And another thing that people don't even think about, that if you're using that dryer, now this doesn't have anything to do with him there, if you're using that dryer, your dryer in the wintertime, which you got to, you're blowing air out of the house, what they call conditioned air, out of the house through a 4-inch line. Go out there and feel that thing. You're blowing all that hot air and moisture out the side. What you're blowing outside has to come back in, okay? It's not going to come in as conditioned air. It's going to come in as cold air. It's going to come in unconditioned air. So the best dryer you could get, which kind of what I wanted to do, and the wife really wanted, you want to get an airtight dryer, okay? You want an airtight dryer. You want the air intake to be in the attic, okay? Put a little chase up the wall, and have your dryer, when you're drying in the summertime, pulling preheated air out of your attic, which you want to get that hot air out anyway. So you're preheating the air before it even goes into your dryer. And you could put, you know, a screen around it up there so varmints don't get in there and stuff like that. And then in the summertime, you want to get it out of the house. There's no question. But you're pulling outside air and pushing outside air. You follow that? So you're taking unconditioned air that's hot from the attic. You're bringing it into a conditioned area. You're just heating it up more, and then you're throwing it outside. So that will not have to be replaced. So that will save on your air conditioning bill. And in the wintertime, you probably want to just bring conditioned air in, dry your clothes, but put it into another room so you're not having to have the air that you're blowing out through the dryer vent out into an unconditioned area. I hope that's, it's kind of hard to understand maybe. I don't know. Let's see what else. But I think that concept is really good, but I think they need to get a little further along on having a airtight dryer and pulling unconditioned air. In the summertime, it would save you, I don't know if it'd save you anything, but if you're blowing air outside, that's another thing a lot of people don't even consider in the wintertime. If you're running a wood stove, everything that goes up the stack has to be replaced by unconditioned air. Just telling you. So a lot of people will bring an air duct in front of their fireplace, so the unconditioned air from outside goes in there, heats that, and goes up and won't put your house in a negative pressure. When you're burning your wood stove, your house is in a negative pressure. When you're burning a fuel oil furnace, your house is in a negative pressure. When you're burning a gas-fired heater, your house is in a negative pressure. So all that stuff that's going up your chimney has to be replaced with unconditioned air. So it probably affects your heating bill more than it does your air conditioning bill, because your air conditioning bill, you're putting a cold coil in there and the air just goes over the coil, but it's not bringing outside air or inside. It's recirculating your inside air is what it's doing. So it really hurts your energy efficiency in the wintertime a lot more than it does in the summertime. So that's another reason when we put in the wood stove, or not the wood stove, when we put in the outdoor wood boiler, okay, I no longer have wood smoke going up the chimney. I don't have the fuel oil fumes going up the chimney, and I don't have gas anyway, so that doesn't ever go up the chimney. So I don't have that circulation. And I think with the wood boiler, it also keeps the air in the house a little bit higher percentage-wise moisture content, because I think the fireplace is, because it's such a direct heat, and same with the oil furnace, I think that has a tendency to dry out the air a little bit more. So that's kind of my things. I think I got everything on there. But you're going to say, you'd be surprised if you have a wood stove and you have make yourself a little screen like this. It doesn't have to be like this or expanded steel. You'll save yourself a heck of a lot on the wood stove. And it's just a homemade tool. I probably don't have but a couple bucks in it, if that much. So I'll show you. Some people had asked, where are we at? Asked to see our Charlie Brown Christmas Eve. Charlie Brown would be really, he'd like that. That's Charlie Brown approved. We'll do a little walk around. I'll show you the furnace in the, or how we hooked it up in the back. I got this thing that sometimes works, sometimes goes around. It's a, supposed to go in the duct humidifier. I just kind of play with it. And the air goes across this fan, if you can see that. But I don't have it where I normally set it over here further. I got to move you over here so the wind blows on it and it goes around and it keeps a little more moisture in there. That's a big ductwork that we put in here. It's 12-inch by 12-inch ductwork that, you know, I found that and had that for years, just thought it was pretty. And when we put in the wood boiler, I put that in so more heat would go in the basement. That was kind of crazy. There's one of the scales that we scale a lot of stuff with. I collect a lot of S-spoke flywheels and fancy flywheels, and there's another fancy flywheel. Oh, I guess while we're here, I'll just show you real closer up what this is. That's expanded steel, and I would say it's probably 6 inches wide where I got it there. And I bet you could probably get this at the hardware store. Little sheets of it. It's not very big stuff. So that's that. I think that's the fireplace set from upstairs because we don't do that anymore. I did all the brickwork here. I don't know how to do brickwork. Those are railroad lanterns. Probably something you've never seen. If you're looking at these railroad lanterns, see if you find some with this thick lead base on it, okay? Those for windy days. Yeah, I did the brickwork here. Back when we were doing the basement, that's the first thing I did. And I think I've reviewed this in a video way in the past, that bricklayers all wanted about $5 a brick, and you know, we're talking 80 and 89, okay? And that would just seemed a little bit, that was going to cost me $1,500 to do that. And I said, you know, I don't care if it's doesn't look too good. It's going to get messed up, covered up, so it'll be fine. And that's how it turned out. That's one of the things I did down here. What else did I do down here? Goofy things. There's another, just kind of a neat flywheel. I got a great big steel container one. There's another one there on a, that's a corn grinder, I think. What else is down here? Blocks for my kids when they were kids, and now the grandkids get them. There's my train set. Anyhow, there's the pool table. We'll go over here a little bit. There's the, what do you call it, pinball machine? I don't have the lights on over here. Just some knickknacks that I pick up. This is something they gave me, you can't really see it. I donated 5, 6, 7, 800, I don't know how many board feet of black walnut to them when they were redoing that caboose. And just some junk here. Little steam engine thing. This is kind of my favorite thing, but you can't see it because it's not. It's a order form for an American locomotive, a 440. I could have turned on the lights, but I wasn't that good. I wasn't planning on. It was just kind of random. Got to do something because it's so cold out. I'm not going outside. The Kubota didn't want to start. I'll show you the furnace. Somebody asked about the hookup, so we'll come down here. It's running because it's chilly in here. This is my mess. Steam engines. They've been in past videos. Here's a little beam engine. There's an engine. There are engines all over there. This is what you call worthless. This is my little dirtball cat. Okay, the heat comes up from the boiler through these lines. Those are the boiler lines to go to the hot water heater. The wife won't let me hook it up, so that's the way it is. Only boiler in the world that isn't hooked up to domestic hot water. And there's communication things and master cutoff for everything down there. They come up here and then they switch into copper. And while I'm back here, remember I keep track of everything. You know that. Here's boiler figures, how long they've run. Here's an hour meter on the boiler. I keep, well, there's not on the boiler, on the two furnaces. We have an upstairs furnace and a downstairs furnace. This is how much each one burns, and I keep track of how much fuel oil we use if I'm not running the boiler. Anyhow, we're back to this. So the lines come down here, and it comes into the main unit here. It comes in here, the coil's inside there. There's a 100,000 BTU coil inside there. Then it comes out here, and as it comes out, once that line's hot, then the blower will come on. It won't come on unless it's calling for heat. Right now, it's after the first coil, it's at 144. Usually I dropped to 10 degrees, so we're coming down a little bit. I think it comes on at 120, so if the boiler goes below 120 degrees, this won't come on. Then it comes out of here and goes over, and then I have it go into the upstairs coil because we knew we didn't need as much heat in the upstairs coil, but I still had to put 100,000 BTU coil in it. But once it's dropped 15 degrees off that coil, then it's just right for there. Then it comes up here and goes down, and here's where it goes out into the garage. So I got heat out in the garage also. So that's kind of what that is. Yeah, it's time for these to go. This is a mess. Remember that big pump I did in a video way back in October? There's another one of those pumps. See how small this one is compared to the one that we were trying to load onto the back of that golf cart. These are little pieces of miscellaneous black walnut. This here, do you know what kind of wood this is? I probably had it. You can't. There it is. Leave a comment down there if you can figure out what kind of wood this is. If you know what kind of wood this is. Now I'll give you a clue. It ain't oak. But this is black walnut. This is black walnut. Just chunks of black walnut that are just kind of left over. I save crazy things. You know, I started with turtles years and years ago. I don't know what this is, but it's black walnut and looked neat, so it didn't get burnt. Oh, I know. While I'm back here, we'll go over to here. I'll turn on some more light. I'm still working on this. You remember that log that had the metal in it? I'm still trying to decipher how old this thing is. And I got the old magnifying glass, and it's even got a light on it. And it's still, I think I'm going to have to take a razor and shave it and put it under a microscope, because I think between here and here, as I'm looking at it, because there's 10 years right in this area here, which I didn't really realize that was, but when you get it under a real fine magnification, you can see rings in here, and there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe you can put it on your computer and raise it and on your computer on your screen and look at it, and then go the next section. Maybe you guys can count it for me. I'd have to give you reference points like from here to here, and then from here to here, or something like that. Anyhow, I punched in for work today on time. Of course, that's not the right time. That about wraps it up for this one, guys. A few other things. Oh, I forgot to show you the cannon on the wood stove. That's train track. Used to always set the train track up Christmas time, but I don't know, just kind of getting old, I guess. I did the tile on this floor too. It was neat when we used to run this. This is a Winchester cannon. Shoots 10 gauge blanks. Very loud. You can hear it for 5 miles. This is the old Dragon that I used to keep on the wood stove. And you take his head off, you fill him up with water, and then as it gets hot, he blows the steam out his nose. I don't know if you can still get those anymore. That was kind of a neat thing. I had to look it up on eBay, see if you can still get them. Just some fun things. Anyhow, still got Christmas going on tomorrow. Everybody's coming over for Christmas, so I got to clean my mess off the ping pong table so they can play ping pong. Now, look at this. Worthless wants out now. Can you see a little pile of cat food for the wild? There's a wild cat that comes over and eats every night. You don't see him at all, but the trail cam picks him up every night coming in eating, so I feed him, and then I have water here for him, especially this time of the year. I think he might be sleeping down by the boiler. There's the metal detector. I got to go over the log that's on the new wood splitter. Just rambling on about different nonsense. This metal detector, I've had that since '82 or so. The battery thing, they started to get a little corroded on them because it wasn't working right the other day when I was using it. And I've replaced this once. You can't see down in there, but that's corroded there. That one's corroded. And I bought 2 of them at the same time, so I'm going to put this one on there, and I went to the store and got some of this dielectric grease. Hopefully that'll keep it from getting crappy. So that's where that's at. So I gotta get all this cleaned up before everybody comes over tomorrow. Get my electric bike outside. So anyhow, do me a favor. You all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I'll be rattling at you between now and New Year's, I know. Well, I plan on it anyway. I hope you get all the presents you wanted. It looked like Brad. Man, did you see Brad? If you don't watch Brad out at Firewood, I think it's Firewood in the Furnace. Man, he got the ultimate present for Christmas. If you want to check out and see what Brad got, if you don't already know, go check out Brad, Firewood at the Furnace. Tell him I sent you over there to see his new present. It is beautiful. Anyhow, glad you stopped by. I hope you get what you want underneath the Christmas tree. And see you in a couple days. Bye-bye now.